Hi guys, welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Monday, football is still postponed for the near future. We're joined today by Mike, who I know you all have seen before and you all know from his channel and from my channel and from the Sleep Out vlog, etc. So doesn't really need much of an introduction, but Mike's joining us today. We're going to talk just general stuff really, general chit chat. Obviously it's been a long time since we were at the game, Everton versus Manchester United, the last game we were at, which seems like months and months and months ago now. So we're just going to talk generally, and then we're going to have a little conversation about next season and preparation for next season, because we don't quite know when the Premier League season, if the Premier League season is going to come back. Obviously there's been multiple discussions over the last week or two, but we don't know anything solid yet. It seems like the Premier League desperately want to bring it back, but they know they can't yet, especially not whilst everything's going on and whilst it seems to only be getting worse as well. So we're going to talk about Everton and about preparations for next season. Obviously Carlo Ancelotti coming in, us seeing him for a couple of months or so, and then obviously football being postponed. But I think it's fair to say, since Carlo Ancelotti's come in, and definitely from the start of the season when Marco Silva managed us, there's a lot of things that we've seen so far that we know we need to improve on and we know we need to change going forward, even with Carlo Ancelotti as manager. So just overall, I suppose, how you doing, mate? How's things? How have you been?
Yeah, mate, it's all right. It's just, you watch the world fall apart around you, don't you? It's rough at the minute for a lot of people. A lot of people are struggling. I'm a little bit worried regarding, like people's mental health and things like that when they're working from home and they might be stressed about their jobs and worrying about elderly relatives and stuff. But I think we've all just got to get through it the best we can. The recent suggestion is that they're having a Cobra meeting today, and it'll probably be that they go into lockdown from tonight. So it's about time. It's a bit late, but what can you do? In terms of the football, the fact that it's not on's killing me. Like, it's absolutely killing me because there's nothing to watch. It's just cack.
That's it. And you make a brilliant point there about mental health and stuff. That's one thing that I've really been worrying about because, initially, obviously, especially since the school shut, you were seeing a lot of, school kids and stuff and people, the kids coming out of school looking made up almost as if it's like an early summer's holiday and they're thinking, oh, brilliant, we've got loads of time off. But, you then think about what's going to happen if those, people are stuck behind the doors and not being able to go out, and mental health is a big, big thing. And for me, one thing I found helps my mental health massively is exercising and going to the gym or going for walks or going for runs. And the fact that if we do go into lockdown, that's going to be completely restricted to the point where you can only do bits and bobs at home. That's one thing I've been trying to say over the last few live streams, is that even if you walk up your stairs a few flights of stairs a couple of times a day, do that, because it's going to be good for your mental health. If you've got a mat, get some sit-ups done, do 100 sit-ups a day, challenge yourself, because sitting, even if you're working from home and you can still work, sitting behind the desk constantly all day and then going down watching the telly and not being able to leave your house, you may feel like you're sort of in prison. So mental health's a big, big thing I think that we need to be talking about. Obviously the virus is massively part of the conversation because it's the reason as to why we may or may not go into lockdown, but I think mental health's something that people are going to really, really struggle with during this period. Spot on about the footy as well. It's boring, innit? There's not much to watch, there's not much to do.
Now, and also we all see these videos of players training at home in their massive mansion, and I just, as horrible as it sounds, it's fantastic them doing that. It's fantastic people engaging with the fans, but it's not the real world. I don't have a gym in my house. Yeah. I don't have a swimming pool that I can just hop in. I have. The only exercise I do will be literally walking to the fridge, taking a snack out of the fridge and eating that snack. And that snack just won't be healthy for me. So
that's it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Mental health, and it is a real struggle, but I'm glad you alluded to the fact that you are just doing the little things, because I think so many people, as horrible as it sounds, if they start getting into a rut, they just won't think about it. So it's good to allude to it, and that's what you're particularly good at anyway, Cam, to be fair to you. So yeah, good on you.
Thank you. That's it. Like you said, it's very easy for these athletes, and I don't want to. It's not a negative thing because they don't have to do it. They don't have to put social media videos up. So it's good of them, like Theo Walcott today doing it and his dog getting involved. And to be fair to Theo, he done sort of workouts with cans of like tins and stuff of beans and stuff that you could do in your house. But you are right, it's easier for people like that to say, oh, you need to be exercising, you need to be feeding your mental health, while they've got fully fledged gyms in their houses and swimming pools, etc. It's a lot easier to do that than if you're in a regular house and you haven't got those facilities. But one thing I've been really, really impressed with recently, and people are probably getting bored of me saying it because I've spoke about it in literally every live stream for the last 2 weeks, is how well everyone in the community have responded to this, and Everton from that sort of basis. I know we had a massive conversation with Karina from Everton in the community during the sleep out and the work that she does and the work that the charity does in itself, but I've been really, really happy, and I felt quite a heartwarming feeling from the work Everton in the community are doing. Even the simple things, phoning the elderly members of the community up, phoning elderly season ticket holders and just asking how they are. We've seen multiple videos over social media of Mason Holgate, Seamus Coleman, Leighton Baines. I know Moise Keane phoned Ped's sister up just to have general sort of chit-chat conversation, and I spoke last week. I said, I know, you could be sitting in your house, bored off your head or feeling a little bit down because you can't go out for a pretty much an entire day. And if all of a sudden your phone goes, you don't know who it is, and you pick it up and it's Duncan Ferguson or it's Leighton Baines or it's Seamus Coleman, you're elated. You're massively elated, and that sort of sticks with you because it's not just like meeting a footballer on a match day where they take a picture and they'll go and meet another 60, 70 people on that day. You're actually having a personal conversation with that player and they're engaged with it, especially the one we've seen with Mason Holgate. Again, being massively impressed with Mason. We've seen him on Sky Sports talking about it. We've seen him obviously calling the elderly season ticket holder. I think he's definitely got the potential to be an Everton captain. He holds himself with that sort of that right level of authority, and not only on the pitch and his performances have shown, but he's shown he's a really, really good representative of the club. What have you made obviously of Everton in the community and their whole involvement in this, other than obviously the little home videos from the players in terms of fitness, the fact that they've jumped on this and they've thought, I said myself, I said there'll be a lot of football clubs that's first thought will be, we're going to lose money, how do we carry on making money, how do we carry on selling shirts, how do we carry on this, that, the other, whereas I feel like Everton, and especially Everton in the community's first thought was, let's get in touch with the people.
Yeah, I think Everton. We all know Everton are fantastic at it. They win awards after awards after awards, and it's always positive. Like Everton in the community, they very rarely get anything wrong. And for this, if anything, they've just stood out as being the very best, not just in the Premier League, but in the world. A lot of people criticised the old. When we went from being the people's club to the, being this club with ambition and whatever, Everton are just demonstrating now that we still are the people's club. We are a club that, we want the best for our fans. You alluded to the point Mason Holgate's ringing, season ticket holders. And when he speaks to him, he says that, his first game was when he was 3 years old, which was 90 odd years ago. And Mason Holgate is genuinely, you can see it on his face, he's genuinely blown away by that. Karina has done a stunning job with Everton in the community. But look, I very, very, very rarely do this, but I actually think both Everton and Liverpool have been brilliant for Merseyside regarding this situation. Both supporting with food, going to food banks. Everton, as always, ringing up the elderly, getting in touch with them. Liverpool donating some of the match day food. Everton doing exactly the same. It has shown that football in general comes together in times of crisis. And that's been really positive. I don't ever like talking about Liverpool, but I will always give them credit if credit is due, and they deserve credit for that. But it's nowhere near what Everton do, obviously. But it's been a stunning reaction to a really shit situation for a lot of people, and the fact that this could go on for probably the best part of 12 weeks. We're going to be like this, and the government have given very little direction. Everton are there arranging hampers and asking if people need anything and asking if people need help. That's amazing. That is amazing. And you don't see it from any businesses, clubs, communities. And Everton were the first ones to do it at the forefront. And again, as always, we don't get enough media coverage about it. But Everton, genuinely, and Everton in the community and all the staff behind it, the players involved, Karina, stunning job. They really have done a fantastic job, and it's credit to the club. It really is.
Spot on. You made the boss point there, talking about like, responsibility, and we criticise Everton and the players, and you may be the manager at some point about the responsibility on the pitch, and obviously we've spoke multiple times over the last 6 months about the lack of captain and the lack of real captain and the lack of leaders on the pitch. But in times of crisis, like you said, when it comes about not about football and more about helping the community, Everton have taken that responsibility that the government haven't taken, and that a lot of big companies and big corporations haven't taken. And I know the likes of Apple have shut their shops down, John Lewis, etc. But have they just shut their shops down, or are they calling their employees and making sure their employees are okay and they need anything? Whereas Everton really seem to be doing that with not only their employees but obviously the fans as well, and especially the elderly members of the community. Everton are fully aware that there's a lot of season ticket holders that will be in the risk category. My dad's one of them. There's a lot of people that will be in the risk category, and it's fantastic. And one thing I really like, Karina mentioned it to us on the sleep out, is that I know during this time we've seen Everton's official sort of Twitter posting videos, and obviously Sky Sports giving it a little bit of coverage. You're spot on there about the fact that we don't get enough media coverage. I don't think the Echo have covered it many a times. They might have put an odd article in there, but
more bothered about Liverpool winning the league.
Exactly, and they put in a big massive piece about how the whole country should sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," to do with a pandemic, that actually the advice is to walk alone if you're going to walk and distance yourself. But you're spot on, there's not much media coverage, but I feel like a lot of the videos we're seeing on social media, it's not even really coming from Everton's official Twitter, where they're like, look what Mason's done, look what Seamus has done, look what Leighton Baines has done. It's fans videoing their elderly parents, or fans videoing themselves saying, oh my god, I've just got a call from Moise Keane, I've just got a call from Leighton Baines, and then Everton are just retweeting that as if to give that a little bit more of a push, a little bit more coverage. I know Ped's video about his sister speaking to Moise Keane, that come from directly from him. The amount of videos I've seen from just Evertonians using these social media platforms that are saying, can't believe me granddad got a phone call from Bill Kenwright today, and it's just the average fan that's filming that. It's not Everton going round to the house with loads of cameras saying somebody's going to phone you in a minute, let's see who it is. It's just happening naturally, and that's so fantastic to see. Is that on one hand, it's like maybe we should be going round with cameras to push that media coverage and to make sure the media are fully aware of what we're doing, because it's fantastic what we're doing. But on the other hand, it's so natural, and you can tell it's not forced. You can tell Everton in the community have sat down and they haven't even thought about, right, how can we come out looking better than any other club on this. They've just thought, there's people that are in need here, that are going to be lonely, that are going to be at home, that are going to be on their own. How can we brighten the day up by giving them a call from, let's be perfectly honest, a professional sportsman in a Leighton Baines or a Mason Holgate or a coach like Duncan Ferguson, who for 15 hours of the day are going to be sitting around not doing very much at home. I know the players have been given individual training regimes and stuff like that, but for the rest of the day they're not going to be doing an awful lot, are they? Let's be honest. So it's fantastic, of course, and we can only wish, I'm sure to speak on behalf of you as well, we can only wish that anybody that is affected obviously gets better soon, and we all sort of just follow the advice that we're being given. And although we mightn't like this current government, just continue to listen to the health professionals. And like I said, if you're suffering, we wish you a very healthy and speedy recovery as well. Just moving on from that, next season, obviously it's something that I feel like this is a time where we can really nail down, and Everton themselves as well, the coaches, Marcel Brands, whilst he's sitting at home, I hope he's not sitting at home just with his feet up watching loads of Netflix. This is the time where, it's true though, innit? This is the time where he's got loads of time to be identifying transfer targets, identifying positions that need sort of, altering and players that need to come in, because obviously we've done a lot better since Carlo Ancelotti's come in, let's be perfectly honest. But there's still been games, there's still been performances where you think that's not right and that needs to change. Obviously, even the Newcastle game, we were fantastic against Newcastle at home, but that last 2 minutes can't happen again. We can't be having that. That mentality needs to leave, and there's various positions that we probably know need to be strengthening. Some would argue goalkeeper, some would argue right hand side, both right winger and right back. And I hope that, like I said, the coaching staff and the staff that are employed to do that are currently at home doing it, because there's no better time than now, is there? They're not at Finch Farm, they're not doing, the sort of a lot of the stuff they'd usually be doing. So sit down and identify some targets and maybe start talking to some clubs as well, because there's a lot of players in Europe that'll want to come and play for Everton under Carlo Ancelotti. There's a lot of players in Europe that'll want to come and fight for European places and fight for the Champions League places. But I know, you know, Mike, watching Everton, even since Ancelotti's come in, we're not quite ready for that fight yet. So we need to do a lot in the summer, and obviously we don't know when football's going to come back, so we need to start sort of thinking about it now. Just for you, what sort of preparation do you think Ancelotti and the backroom staff should sort of be doing now and should sort of be thinking of, or do you think they should be thinking ahead till next season, or do you think they should just be sort of waiting on and seeing what happens with the rest of this season?
So I think it's difficult at the minute because nobody knows what's going to happen with the end of this season. Obviously, if this season starts in April, which I very, very much doubt, they would be able to get it finished behind closed doors, maybe to start with, and then integrate fans back in maybe May, June, don't know. But if this season doesn't go on, the sooner that decision's made, the sooner that sort of Marcel Brands should always be working. He should from August to May or June or July. His job is to go out and find the best players, go and make sure his scouting network's on top of everything, make sure the internal staff are happy, their contracts are in full. He's the director that fundamentally is meant to make everything tick. So he doesn't necessarily stop. Carlo Ancelotti, on the other hand, it's very difficult because being a head coach, he knows what he wants, but he's not the one. The manager went and got their own players. So it's not like Carlo can sit there. He probably sits there, has a conversation with Marcel Brands once every couple of weeks and says, look, I think we need to strengthen these areas. This is not good enough. I think areas that he would have identified are the areas that you touched on. You definitely touched on it the other day regarding the goalkeeper. I think Carlo Ancelotti, as much as he may not say it, I think he'd be very disappointed with Pickford, so I could see that happening. And I could imagine Brands is now sitting at home, watching simulations, watching videos, reading stats, getting to understand players, may even be contacting some clubs. But that's it, because nobody actually knows what's happening with the end of this season. I wish they'd just cancel it for a few reasons.
I'm sure we all share that.
Yeah, but you just categorically don't know that. No. That's the problem.
No, and I think the issue that they'll have if they do null and void it and cancel it completely is that if they made that decision, let's say this week or at the end of a meeting, and then all of a sudden in a couple of months' time, which again I don't think it'll happen. I think this pandemic will go on for the best part of 12 weeks, if not more, because I just think that we're not doing enough as a government and as a country into containing it. But, let's say, just for argument's sake, they come out at the end of this week and they said, right, we're going to null and void it and we're going to completely end it and we'll start again when we can start a new season. And then, at the end of April or the start of May, all of a sudden it becomes consoled and it's said that we can start football matches again. You'll have obviously all the uproar again, not just from Liverpool fans but from West Brom fans, Aston Villa fans in the Championship. So it's understandable that it's a difficult decision, but I think they just need to make a decision, because I know UEFA have said they've got basically until the 30th of June to complete the season, otherwise it's getting null and voided, either way, because they simply can't go on. But again, that's down to the authorities to be having those conversations. But you're spot on there about Marcel Brands. There's no way, no reason he shouldn't be continue working. I suppose his role will have changed, just like mine has, just like yours has, I suppose, where they'll just go from sitting at Finch Farm to sitting in their house doing the bits they'd be doing. Obviously, it's a little bit different with Carlo Ancelotti, but it gives him time to sit back, it gives him time to look at his playing staff, to look at, the positioning of certain players, and decide who needs to be, who needs to be replaced and what positions we need to improve on. We'll dive into the live comments then. Let's see what people are saying. Hernandez says, hello, Carmo, Paul as well. I'm not too bad. And he also says, hello, Mike. Hope you are well.
Cheers, mate.
Go.
And you.
There you go. Carl says, hi, guys. How are you and your families? I'm not too bad. You all right over there?
Yeah. We're just the same as everyone else, aren't we? I've got a 7-year-old that's very bored at the minute. Bless him.
That's it. And probably going to continue to be bored as well, unfortunately.
12 weeks. Jesus, God help me.
Get him watching Howard's Way on repeat. On absolute repeat. So that he wants to come back to Goodison Park again.
Obviously his last game was a Man United game.
I know.
So, like, I mean, he's absolutely fine with no football at the minute. Like,
Yeah.
he's fine. He's fine.
I think at the start of it, obviously, when it was coming closer to the Merseyside derby and we're just being done over by a VAR against United and we're being bladdered by Chelsea, and then, you know, any referee, I think we had Martin Atkinson as the referee for the derby. I think at first we all sort of went, yeah, we could do without this derby, but now it's like, come on, let's get it back up and running. I bet you if they played that Merseyside derby behind closed doors, I bet you would win, and it'd be the first time we'd beat them in however many years, and nobody would be there to see it.
I've just read one of the comments. I'm just dying.
What one is it? Is it the one about Sidibe's positioning?
Nah. Network Michael D. He's a bummer. He's only worth 50p. Mikey.
There you go.
He's a brummy.
Who's that? David.
For fuck's sake.
Cal says, people talking about the virus we have to put up with Sidibe's positioning all season. Hernandez says, watching the players calling the supporters has been fantastic. Love for the club for their outreach. No football has been rough, though it has. If you're watching and you're enjoying, please do subscribe and drop the video a like as well. You can find Mike's channel in the description down below. I'm sure you all know who Mike is. I'm sure you'd all subscribe to him anyway, but go to the top line of the description if you haven't. Check Mike out. Leave a like on the stream as well. Get it shared. Let's get it all over the socials. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Everton TV says, hello, Mike and Cameron. Hope you're doing well. We're not doing too bad. Wayne says, new keeper priority. Someone else that can bang the goals in from centre mid, and a striker or wide player that can also score. What do you make of that?
So I completely agree. If I was Marcel Brands right now, I would be identifying a completely new spine of the team, and that's not a criticism against Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Like, he's doing a fantastic job. But I do think, unless you're going to play Moise Kean more, which we haven't, so it's obviously dependent on what they see with Moise Kean. We still do need another forward, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not the answer to every problem we have. You know, he's great in the air, he's tenacious, he's quick, he's getting fairly skillful. He's still shocking at one-on-ones, but he's a young lad. So maybe just someone coming in for like a year or two with a bit of experience wouldn't be a bad thing. The centre of midfield, I hate saying this because I hate him, but we've never replaced Ross Barkley with ball carrying ability. No. You know, no one in our midfield can carry a ball forward, beat a man, or just do something different. Whereas, you know, you look at our midfield, Andre Gomez is quite predictable, Schneiderlin's quite predictable. They're all the same.
Yeah.
Gomez is obviously head and shoulders above all of them, but they all do a similar job. Yeah. And we need someone a bit different, someone who is tenacious enough to get forward. In defence, we definitely need another centre-back. I'd love someone who's comfortable on the ball, someone who is strong, composed. Rumours going round today was that we'd consider going for Thiago Silva. And for 35 years old Thiago Silva, I'd happily take for 1 year, but that's it.
Just to have the shirt.
Yeah, I mean, fucking hell. But then the other one, and the one that sort of really got me excited, was the one that you mentioned the other day, and it was somebody that I said to John. I actually atted you in it when the video came out. Was about Donnarumma. He's a player that is very highly thought of. Is a name that people know and respect. Yeah. He's a young lad. He's the sort of perfect person to go into that team. Who is commanding 6'5", good with the ball with his feet, good distribution, good shot stopper. He's an upgrade on Pickford. Yeah. I've lost it with Pickford now. So for me, I'd be looking at the spine of that team and maybe a winger, and obviously we've still got a right back issue.
Yeah. No, definitely, you're spot on. I think we've mentioned for months before Ancelotti, and obviously it's been a little bit difficult since Ancelotti's come in, because I think he's got players playing a lot better than maybe they should be. In a way, that sounds a bit strange to say, but they're playing sort of out of the skin because they know they're playing for the position, and that's not aimed at Calvert-Lewin or Holgate. That's not them included. It's regarding other players. But we've been saying for a long time now, we do need the span, and we do need, you know, players that are leaders. You can't simply have one leader in this day and age in football, and you know, you need multiple leaders on the pitch. You need a centre half who's a leader, a centre midfielder, a striker, possibly, you know, a fullback, a goalkeeper. So, you know, I think you're spot on there. And obviously we've seen since Ancelotti's come in, Mason Holgate stepped up to the plate, and I think in every performance he's played, I'd probably say he's only had one that was average. The others have been fantastic. He's shown that he could potentially have the leadership qualities, but certainly in the centre of midfield, we other than Andre Gomez, obviously, we know has just come back, and again, you know, struggled a little bit even when coming back. He was poor against Chelsea. We haven't got any other midfielder that A is a natural leader and B is that good, let's be perfectly honest, in terms of the quality that we want.
You see, one of the qualities we want in midfield, and this is really weird saying this, is someone who can carry the ball.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the best ball carriers we've got in the middle of our team is Mason Holgate.
Yeah.
You know, you see it week in, week out. He'll take the ball from the goalkeeper and he'll carry it into midfield and lay it off. It was a quality that John Stones had as well. Now, Mason Holgate, in my opinion, is better than John Stones. And I actually said that in a video about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But if you're going to have, you know, the debate is how much money, you know, is it cheaper to go and get 2 centre-backs, or is it cheaper to go and get one person who's going to carry the ball? We've been linked with Alan, God knows how many times, and he obviously would solve that problem, but he's almost 30.
Yeah.
So would Everton not consider going, right, do you know what? We know Mason Holgate can carry the ball. We know he's confident to shoot because we've seen him in matches at Man United away.
Yeah.
Would they go, well, I tell you what, we'll sell Michael Keane, we'll sell Jordan Pickford, that's 60, 70 million, for example.
Yeah. Which gets
Why
doubled or trebled through financial fair play as well. Sorry, just to mention that. The way financial fair play works, I think you get double or treble what you sell or something to spend.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go, right, Everton need 2 centre-backs and a goalkeeper, and push Mason Holgate in midfield. And I know it sounds a bit radical, but for the last 9 games of the season, if they go ahead, I've got no problem with trying to breed Mason Holgate into a midfielder, because I think he's got all the attributes to be like a Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah.
Strong, quick, skillful, and if he's prepared to shoot, let him do it.
Spot on, I agree, spot on, 100%. So just on that, on players, Cal says, for me in the summer, Max Allen, James Rodriguez, Allen and Nick Pope, Andrea Bellotti, players to let go, Gylfi, Keane, Pickford, Sidibe, and Ethan says, what players do you want to get in the summer? So have you got any particular names? Obviously, I agree, actually. I think that obviously it's tough because Mason's been fantastic wherever he's been asked to play this season, centre half, centre midfield, but you know, for me, okay, Michael Keane isn't you know, hasn't done fantastic since he's joined Everton, and certainly hasn't been you know, fantastic for the last 18 months, whatever. But I think I'd probably rather have Mason in the centre of that midfield, because I just think he does more than any of the others would do in terms of A, carrying the ball, and B, he wants to be there. He's got the strength. He's got the ability to pick it up. He's not afraid. He won't run away from the ball. He'll put a tackle in. He's got that natural sort of centre-half's instinct of throwing a challenge in and getting himself about and putting his body in the way, which we really need in the centre of midfield. And then maybe we can, you know, keep with Keane and Mina for the remainder of the season if it goes on until we get into the summer. Have you got any names particular? Obviously, you mentioned Donnarumma then, other than Donnarumma, in terms of players to come in, you know, through the midfield centre. I know Alan.
So I mean, if I was if I was Marcel Brands and say my budget was, say, £80 million plus whatever we made in sales, bar taxis or whatever, I would be getting rid of Michael Keane. I would then get rid of. Obviously, I would try and get rid of players like Balassi, Sandro. They're all on the book, and I try and do that as early as possible. But obviously, we tried to do it last summer and it didn't work as well. So that would be gone. On 4 players, and I think 4 players should be. Well, yeah, I think somebody like Thiago Silva, his experience would be fantastic. I think Donnarumma is another one. I think that would be fantastic. I think if Everton, how ambitious or how much money Everton have depends on the next one, which would be either Cantwell from Norwich or Jack Grealish, Aston Villa. And I think you're going to get one of them. Cantwell is going to be about 30 million. Grealish is going to be about 65. Obviously, sell Sigurdsson. So Sigurdsson and Delph could go out midfield. Probably doesn't fund it, but it probably helps. And you just go and get a striker who can do the bits that Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't as good at the minute, or you start playing Moise Kean.
And then
the last 2 games Moise Kean's actually played, he's been quite good. Started against Crystal Palace. He got his first goal. He was the best player on the pitch. Against Man United, he came on and he had a really good go at Man United's defence. So I just think Everton need to just, instead of going out and getting 8 players and spending 15, 20 million on all of them, go and buy 4 that are real top world class players. Yeah.
No, spot on. Absolutely love Jack Grealish. I'd love Jack Grealish. What would you do then with Richarlison then? Would you push him to the right? And, obviously we know he can play right, left, centre. We know he can play pretty much anywhere. If we're bringing in another striker or if we're putting Moise Kean, where would you think about Richarlison?
I'll tell you my team. If I was a manager, my team would be Donnarumma.
Okay.
Luca Dean.
Okay.
Centre back, Silva. Koulibaly, someone of that level. John Stones. Right back would be Kenny.
Okay.
And give him the opportunity because he's had such a good season at Schalke. I do kind of say to him, though, look, you've got to have a good season, otherwise, yeah. In midfield, the 2 in midfield would be Andre Gomez and Mason Holgate. Then on the left, I have Richarlison. On the right, I have Bernard or Cantwell, depending on who comes in, because obviously I'd like Grealish if not. And then up front would be Moise Kean and Dominic Calvert-Lewin at this moment in time. So there's not loads of changes there, but the change come in, whether it be Cantwell, Grealish, Donnarumma, John Stones. I think all of those players add a bit more quality to the Everton team. And bearing in mind, we're not actually that far off the top 4, really. We're not.
No, they're not great either, are they?
No, I look at the Liverpool team, for example. Liverpool have had a fantastic season. There's no getting away from that. But you take out Mane, Salah, Henderson, which I never thought I'd ever fucking say, Van Dijk. You take that team out, and they'd be lucky to be a top 10 team. 4 signings, and them 4 signings, including Alisson, but them 4 signings was 200 million for 5 players. Now that's 40 million pound a player. That's the going rate for quality these days.
Yeah, that's it.
Go and do it.
Yeah, that's it. Spot on. Interesting you mentioned John Joe Kenny there. Wayne and Carlo have brought up 2 points talking about Sidibe. I take it your stance is that you'd rather have John Joe Kenny in there than Sidibe. What have you made just quickly on Sidibe this season? I know he started okay, then he dipped, then he's gone down, then he went. What would you pay the 14 million, or would you just simply give him back and sort of either go for someone else or give it to John Joe?
If you'd have asked me that question, I think you did ask me this question 6 weeks ago, and I actually said, yeah, sign him. I'd snap the hand off. His position, right? So Sidibe is fine going forward. Yeah, absolutely fine. He's probably on the right hand side. He's probably more productive than Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
which is our only option on the right-hand side, because Richarlison and Bernard would play on the left, he's probably more productive than he will be.
Yeah.
So, as a right midfielder, yeah, I'd take him and put him on the bench. But he's a right back. His positional play is shocking. He comes into the middle too much. He leaves his man. And obviously, there's that famous video of John where he's screaming at the top of his voice about Sidibe moving over. Yeah. That was against Norwich. Yeah. How many games ago was that? 15 games? Yeah. So, no, I wouldn't sign Sidibe. I would give Kenny the benefit of the doubt, or at least bring him back into Finch Farm, because Kenny does have some quality. He wouldn't be doing so well in a German league that is usually very, very tight defensively. He wouldn't be doing so well and be loved by so many of their fans if he wasn't doing well. Yeah. However, if they come up and said, right, we'll give you 25 million quid for him, well, I'm sorry, mate, he goes as well. Yeah. Do you get what I mean?
That's it. Everyone's got a price.
But if you're telling me between spending £12 million on Sidibe or bringing John Joe Kenny back into the club, I'll bring John Joe Kenny back into the club all day.
I think I probably agree at the minute. I agree. Wayne says, Michael D, legend, love your channel. Lads, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
There you go.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's, to be fair to Wayne, he's watched my channel since probably like 300 subscribers. There you go. Bearing in mind we've just about 440, he's a credit to me, and it's an honour to have him watch my channel, to be fair to him.
Definitely. Same. I feel the same about Wayne. Toffee Blues says, keep spreading the good word, lads. Come on, you Blues. Thank you very much. RP says, credit to Stephen Naismith too. Took a 50% pay cut at Hearts. Won't see too many players doing that. Yeah, and Stephen Naismith's been doing that since he was at Everton. Providing food for food banks, giving cuts of his wages to charity. He's just a genuinely nice bloke and top professional. And I actually said he was, for me, one of the most underrated players I've ever seen at Everton, because he doesn't really get the credit, but I remember him scoring the hat-trick against Chelsea. He was always there to score important goals. He was always there off the bench to score important goals, a bit like Anichebe was, but a little bit more lethal than Anichebe. But yeah, in terms of the man himself, he was just absolutely fantastic. There's one for you. Wayne says, one for Michael. Did bringing John onto your channel help take some of the pressure off? As seeing you stressed sometimes, think it works anyways.
Did it take the pressure off? To be honest, it's a bit of an understatement. Okay. It didn't just take the pressure off. It allowed me to breathe. It allowed me to, spend a little bit more time with my family. And, I was trying to upload a video a day. Yeah. And with the editing, I mean, you know what it's like, Cam. It's not easy. No. It's really not easy. And coming up with different ideas, and I make a different thumbnail for everything. That can take 20 minutes. And by the time you get in from work, it's say 6, you have your dinner, you do your video. My little boy goes to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Yeah. So having John come on and doing joint videos and whatever is fantastic. Yeah. And it's been a bit quiet this week because we've both been under a lot of pressure. I've had a lot of stresses. I'm not too bad. Mentally, I'm all right. A little bit. John is obviously worried because John is self-employed. He's part self-employed. So that's why there hasn't been a video on my channel this week. But yeah, it's been a massive help, John being on the channel. And obviously next season could be a massive year for our channel. It really could.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to what's planned. I can't wait. I'll be the first one with me Michael D cup. Get your cup out.
Oh, they are.
There you go.
Here's me cup.
Get on that. I want one of them. By the way, before anyone else gets on it, I'm first order. I'm having one first.
We'll do joint merch, and what we'll do is we'll do joint merch. Any of the profits will go to charity. Yeah. How about that?
There you go. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You start designing because you're better than me.
I'll get Jess to do it because she does my designing.
Yeah, you're punching, punching.
I know. Tell me about it. Alfie says media bias towards LFC is disgusting. God says Everton is just a great club that looks out for the fans. Wayne says, why do all the ex-Evertonians have the virus? Arteta, Fellaini, no wonder we were shite back in the day with the weak immune systems. I know, bloody unlucky that, innit? Dave says it'll be finished behind closed doors. The FA can't afford the legals, but I don't really know if they will be. Could clubs legally have a go, because technically Liverpool haven't officially mathematically won the league, so they wouldn't. I would assume, I don't know much about court or legal or anything like that, but I would assume they wouldn't have much of a leg to stand on because they haven't officially won the league, but I don't know. Hernandez says, I wonder how much Brands' young, talented recruitment system matches up with Ancelotti's world-class recruitment pattern lineup. Will be interesting to watch in the summer and interesting links now. Definitely, Cal says the media hate us because teams like Liverpool and Man U are going to the middle class route where we still go for the working class. The media hate working class. It's spot on, and I don't like Sky Sports, and that's known. But to be fair to Sky, being fair when fair's due, they did do a piece about Mason Holgate talking to fans and about Everton reaching out to fans. But like we said earlier on, our local paper, the Liverpool Echo, don't think have done an awful lot. I haven't seen an awful lot in any papers about us reaching out. From what we're sort of seeing it on social media and people putting videos of their family members receiving phone calls. Like we said, it's not being plastered all over the media, and I think it's a real positive message, especially during the time at the minute when everybody is naturally a little bit down and a little bit sort of it's scary. It is a scary time. I was on the bus on Friday, first time. It's really hit me on the bus on Friday, thinking bloody hell, this is scary. There's nothing in the air. Go on.
You're riddled.
What?
You're riddled.
That's it. That's what I mean. It's like. It's the first.
Oh, gee.
I know. I'm staying. I'm working from home now. I'm not leaving the house. But it was the first time I thought this is scary. Going in the shops and seeing the shelves absolutely ransacked. And I know that might be unnecessary to some extent, but regardless of whether it's unnecessary or not, it's still scary. And it's important that people sort of try and be as positive as you can be, even though it's very, very hard to be positive. And that's why I want to come on here, even if it's 3 times a week, and just try and preach some positive energy, and I'm sure Mike, I know Mike's doing the same as well. Cass says we need a player from Forsberg, like Forsberg from RB Leipzig. We need an experienced player in our starting 11. Don't have one. Spot on. Nanda says, I look at centre midfielders and don't see a single person at the moment that can grab a goal and need better threats. It's actually a really, really good point here. We'll finish off in a minute, but he's got a good point there. Out of our entire midfield, centre midfielders, more likely, obviously, we know that the wingers can grab a goal, but the wingers are more wingers rather than midfielders. Look at that centre midfield. You're looking at Schneiderlin, Sigurdsson, Davis, and Gomez. Although Gomez is quite clearly the better of all of them, there's not many goals, is there in any of them? And I know Sigurdsson had a lot last year, but this year is definitely hasn't provided.
They're all similar players.
Yeah.
They're all similar players. It's like Gylfi Sigurdsson, in my opinion, for finishing ability, he's the best in the team.
Yeah.
But he's not a striker.
No.
He's never played as a striker in his life. He's never going to be able to do that. So if that's not possible, what can you do? Then you go into your midfield and you go, right, Andre Gomez, well, he's not a goal scorer. He never has been.
No.
Fabian Delph, not a goal scorer. They're all the same. Yeah. And if you don't play Sigurdsson as a striker, which you wouldn't do anyway, he's not capable now of getting up and down to score goals. No. And he hasn't been all season. He's just been a distant memory. Yeah. So, you're right, spot on.
That's it. If you're enjoying, by the way, so far, please do hit the like button. Only takes a second. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. If you haven't already, Mike's channel's in the description. Go over there and subscribe to him as well. Underground says Patrick Schick has Everton interests. Cal says we have too many boys. We need a man, clever a leader. Underground says I think Pickford is better than Donnarumma. Struggling at AC and Error's worse than Pickford. I don't know. What you think about that? I don't watch much Serie A, I'm not going to lie. I know he's a lot younger than Pickford, 21, and has been playing in the AC Milan first team since he was like 16, so he's got a lot of experience for a young man.
He has had a ropey season this season. There's no getting around that. He's had a ropey season. And so has Pickford, yeah. But this is going to sound awful. I want a taller goalkeeper.
Yeah. And it's fair. It's fair.
You know, I've got nothing. I have nothing against Jordan Pickford's his bounce back ability, his ability to go right. Yeah, I've made a mistake there. Gets back up, goes on the town with the lads. Blah blah. I've got nothing against any of that.
Yeah.
He's a bit cocky. He's a bit arrogant. But the simple fact of the matter is, you stick 2 extra inches on his fingers and he saves more goals. Yeah. And it sounds awful saying it, and I hate saying it, but it's true.
And I made this point, and I don't know if it's a Chelsea game. It might have been the Chelsea game. It might have been a game prior to it. But I tweeted out, obviously, one of the goals went in, and I said I think Pickford's a little bit at fault. And somebody tweeted back saying it's not his fault. He's just not sort of tall enough. And I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, that isn't his fault, to be fair. He can't help how tall he is, but that's an issue in itself. We can't concede, a last-minute goal for us to lose a game and go, well, the keeper just wasn't tall enough. For me, that's a problem. And it's not his fault, spot on. He can't help it, but it's something that needs addressing for me. David says Donnarumma and Gabriel for 50 million is a no-brainer. Jolsberg will be interested in Grealish. Players value with the 5 players out of contract means we'll be down around 80 million. If we could make Donnarumma, Gabriel, Jolsberg, and if we could sign Jack Grealish this summer, I'd be out beyond myself. Absolutely beyond, because I think he's a top quality. I really like Tom Campbell as well, don't get me wrong, but for me, I think Jack Grealish is next level quality. I think he's better than James Maddison.
Yeah.
I think he's just the
there's
next level.
There's another player that a lot of people don't necessarily put in the same bracket, and that's McTominay at Man United. McTominay, he sounds similar, but I reckon if you push him up, he's
Go on, sorry, the audio cut out there. What are you saying about McTominay?
I was just saying that, McTominay, for example, he's a young lad as well, and he's got these bigger characteristics that I think if he was to step forward and step onto the ball, and we saw it against us. McTominay and Fred both got forward. It weren't just Bruno Fernandes, who was phenomenal, by the way, but both those players come forward and are prepared to shoot. So I'm not saying that they're anywhere near a Jack Grealish, but what I am saying is there is more options than just going, well, I want Jack Grealish or I want James Maddison, who wouldn't leave Leicester. But I think there's more options, and the Carlo Ancelotti is the right manager to get it out of them. You know what? An interesting fact, and I didn't realise this. When David Beckham retired, Carlo Ancelotti was the manager
of,
and when of PSG.
Yeah, he retired at PSG, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and when you stand there and you realise that Carlo Ancelotti saw the end of David Beckham's career and he's managed Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, I think. This is a guy that could turn, I would say, your average player into a very, very good player, as long as they've got the right attitude.
Spot on. And hopefully, if we do bring in some players in the summer that you think, they're average,
so we'll see.
Hopefully it's with that intention that he can turn them in to a top class player. On the ground says John Joe's doing bits of Schalke stream. Season ticket holders are going to stream the games for free. It's just a rumour at the minute, innit? Dave says I went shopping for large Jorex and they were none, so I bought latex gloves. That's a little bit. How many bits and bobs have you got down there? David says hit like, Cam gets 96p. That's not how it works. Imagine it worked like that. Imagine for every like you got £1, near enough. Bloody hell. I think me and Matt, we'd have gyms in our houses, that's for sure.
Mate, oh my God. The thing is, people really don't understand how little you earn from YouTube. It's literally you don't earn a lot.
For me.
The most I've ever video is £22.
Yeah.
That's the most.
Yeah.
Like by a mile. Like I've never earned anywhere near that since.
That man was the same with the Derby reaction, and that, yeah.
The Derby one, yeah. You get 20,000 views, stick 20 quid on it.
And that 20 quid goes in about 10 minutes anyway, especially with me getting on Amazon. Wayne says, Pickford could do gymnastics like Neville Southall. How big was Neville? Answers exactly the same height. Yeah, I think Neville was a different class, wasn't he? For me, best goalkeeper ever to live. But it's spot on, he wasn't massively tall. Neville Southall, I haven't spoken personally to him, but I've had a night with him, one of those nights with Everton legends, and he speaks very highly of Jordan Pickford. His words were, stop being a tit and get your head down, which is very Neville Southall-like, but he doesn't, you would expect him to be very much, he's not good enough, move him out the way, replace him, but he's surprisingly not like that. And Underground says Pickford needs to be a bit faster getting to the ball. I think he could be good next season. We'll see if he's still at Everton. Anyway, I think we're going to end it there anyway. I've kept Mike for almost an hour. So I apologise for that one. I hope you've not got anywhere to be very quickly. Big thanks obviously for Mike for joining us today. He saved the stream really, because I think a lot of people were getting bored of just listening to me ramble on about the same shite for the last week or so. So massive thanks to Mike for joining. Massive thanks to everybody for watching as well. If you're watching live, big thanks for getting involved in the live comments. If you're watching on as a YouTube video, then leave your comments in the comment section, and I'll get involved with as many of them as possible. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed the stream as well. Don't forget to subscribe. Go and check Mike out. His link is in the description below. I'm sure he'll tell you in a minute when he'll be next about and about. Follow him on Twitter as well, Instagram, all of that sort of stuff. Follow us while you're there as well. While you're following Mike, you may as well. Have a pretty interesting video out on Wednesday, hopefully, which will be a little tour. I put a picture on Twitter and Instagram before, and people seem to massively respond to it. It's basically my dad's done his office, his work office, because he can work from home. All Everton memorabilia, signed shirts, signed Neville Southall gloves, loads and loads of stuff. So I was because I was working from home with him today, I thought, you know what, I'll ask him if I can film this and maybe put it together. There's a little bit of a tour. It won't be a long video because it's not a massive office, but there's a lot of stuff in there. So hopefully on Wednesday we'll have that. It is really interesting. It's amazing if I do say so myself. Anything you want to say, Mike, before we cut off?
Just thank you ever so much, everyone. Obviously, if you are a subscriber to my channel and a regular viewer, I apologise. I haven't done a video this week. I've had a lot on. There will be some really, really good content coming out, so stay tuned. I'm just working on it. And yeah, guys, thanks ever so much. It's always good being part of the channel. The Mighty Blues and Cameron, obviously, they started whatever it was 2 years ago now, and he's absolutely flying. So just keep supporting him, because he probably doesn't appreciate this, but he's probably the best talking Everton YouTube channel on the scene. So just keep following him, because he ain't a stupid guy. He knows what he's doing, and I'm sure the video in his dad's office will be fantastic when Carlo Ancelotti's behind the chair.
Yeah, I might get that. I might get him to phone me and say, do us a favour, Nip, I know you're isolating and that, but it'll be 5 minutes. 5 minutes, mate. Just 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Really, really kind words there from Mike. And again, I feel exactly the same about Mike. Little bro moment there. Definitely go and check him out. I'm sure you all know who he is anyway. I don't need to shout out, but if you haven't, check him out in the description below. Wayne says, respect, lads. Stay safe, Blues. Thank you very much. And Stephen says, big shout out to Smithy, please. There you go, Stephen Smith. Big shout out to you. Big thanks for watching. Join us on Wednesday for that tour. Probably go up around 6, half 6, 7 o'clock, somewhere around that time. But anyway, big thanks to Mike. Big thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.